world over in the different countries, in the different continents, in the different time zones. On 9th of November in the afternoon in India and about 5:34 here in Singapore, we extend a very hearty welcome to all of you. It's a pleasure to have all of you on this program on board. Ladies and gentlemen, in our series, we have done 309 webinars so far related to empowering education right from the day the coronavirus, the pandemic, 25th of March onward. We are doing for schools, we are doing for colleges, we are doing for universities, we are doing for skills and competencies, and we are doing for ITIs and at the same time polytechnics as well. And now this afternoon series is basically for school education. And this particular program is being brought to you with the Next Education. And this is totally a complimentary program without charging single rupee from Next Education. I must clarify world over. So it's an unbiased program. That part should be very clear. Now, coming on to this, making education relevant, global confluence of intellectuals when we talk about, and the new education policy 2020, which is coming in India. Today's focus is going to be transforming the culture of assessment. Now, when we say transforming the culture of assessments, how can a skilled teacher fulfill it? So what exactly is the assessment? How to assess children? What are the new innovative techniques and creative techniques? That part has to be taken into consideration. This afternoon, we extend a very hearty welcome to our distinguished panelists and our guest over here. We have got Mrs. Padma, Madam, she's Padma Sekar. She is the head of the PYP homeroom teachers based out of Bangalore. Then we have got Mr. Radhakrishnan, Director, Saikrishna Public School, and Radhakrishnan ji is from Kerala. We extend him a very hearty welcome. Mr. Sunil Chacko, the academic principal, Bhartiya Vidya Bhavan in India, Senior Secondary School from Thiruvananthapuram, again in Kerala. Mr. Maria Christopher from Tamil Nadu, he is the Vice Principal, AGR Global School. And then we have got Lady Anuprita Nasire ma'am. She is the academic consultant with the Next Education, India. So ladies and gentlemen, we extend a very hearty welcome to all of them. And as we talk about curriculum, assessment, professional development, family engagement, couple of other things. So how can a skilled teacher fulfill it? Once we talk about it, before that, our chamber extends you a very warm welcome to each one of you. Since 1994, there are approximately 30 million non-resident Indians abroad in different countries, different continents, and they're bringing proud to whole India. And we have requested them during this pandemic and post-pandemic, and particularly when the new education policy has come, let's focus on India's education system and empowering. So Next Education is bringing this series with us. From India, everybody believes in Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. That means the whole world is one family. All of us, we are together. Heartiest congratulations to Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, and the Education Minister of India, Dr. Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank ji, and along with them, all the stakeholders which we have got in education ecosystem, our school principals, teachers, counselors, at the same time, higher education, colleges, universities, polytechnics, ITIs, and other people, those are in skills and competencies, NSDC, NCRT, NIPA, AIU, then UGC, then our AICTE, then National Council for Teacher Education. So we extend a very hearty welcome and our deepest and heartiest congratulations to all of them for this new education policy which has been announced on 29th of July. During this pandemic, 152 countries, when our chamber has collected a lot of statistics, we have come across that main problem which is going to be in future. That's going to be the water shortage, consumable water shortage. Some of the cities are going to have lots of problems. The state of Punjab in India, Bangalore, Chennai, couple of other places, they are going to have acute shortage and difficulties with regard to water. So I would request each one of us, when we are having and when we are going to talk about education, new education, need-based education, flip learning, blended learning, digital learning, outside classroom learning, technology-based learning, practical learning, learning for life, whichever name you want to give it. I think it's very important. We got to save every drop of water. Women empowerment is also very important, ladies and gentlemen. When you educate a female child, then you're educating not only one family, but the subsequent families also as well. That's something is very important, which we all have to understand. Our chamber is live with you from morning till evening, every day. We are on the YouTube. If you come on Dr. Gulshan Sharma's page, you can log in. You can see this particular program straightway right over there. We can work out, we can help you out. It's all complimentary, being done for 12 hours every day, Monday to Sunday. Not Monday to Friday, it's Monday to Sunday. This is the complete canvas which you can note down, and if you wish, you can click the slide. Monday to Sunday, what exactly are we doing? How are we doing? What exactly we are trying? Every day at 5 p.m. in the evening, there's a special program for all of us. And when we talk about it, ladies and gentlemen, at 5 p.m. every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days, youth and the teachers, when we talk about their empowerment. Friday from Singapore, water management strategies. Saturday from Chicago, where 11th of September 1893, Swami Vivekananda ji delivered historic address, Sisters and Brothers of the Universe, and everybody rose on their seats and cheers and thunders of claps to this man. And then, of course, there has to be a purpose of education, why to go to school, college, university, institution. So micro, small, and the medium enterprise is on the rise. You've got to take care of that, as the jobs will keep shrinking. So there is going to be a startup, stand-up, entrepreneurship, self-employment. So we have got a special program for you every Sunday, like last Sunday. That means yesterday evening, we had a special program for you, micro, small, and the medium enterprise. So these all programs are 5 p.m. Don't forget to join us. You can come straight away on the YouTube channel. You need not to go for any Zoom password or ID or something. Nothing is required. Come on the YouTube, just watch it and enjoy and be a part of it. If you want to ask any question, if you want to post any kind of a comments, you can on the YouTube itself. That is more than welcome. We look forward to your valuable suggestions. Then these are the 5 p.m. evening program. Then we have got a special programs for you. Every Saturday at 6:30 in the PM, there's a program on Ayurveda, yoga, meditation, naturopathy, nutrition, organic. Sunday morning, we talk about Srimad Bhagavad Gita and India's principal Upanishad. Then Sunday evening at 3 p.m., these are all Indian standard times I'm talking about, because people are in different countries, in different continents, different time zones. So 3 p.m. Indian Standard Time on Sunday, we have got India ASEAN special program with a focus on northeast part of India. And then finally on Sunday evening, 7:30 p.m., we have got a live telecast from Canada, from Europe, from America, from Australia, from New Zealand, Africa, Mauritius, Seychelles, wherever you can think of on this planet where the Indians have gone, including from ASEAN. You have got the non-resident Indians coming and they give their views. How would they like to help the Indian education ecosystem? Now, there was a request from India that your all programs are in English. Why don't you have something in Hindi? So जीवन संचालन कौशल को मद्देनजर रखते हुए रोजाना दोपहर को 12:30 बजे 12:30 आफ्टरनून में Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 5 days, we have got a special program जो हिंदी में होता है, आज क्या चाहता है युवा। आज की जो युवा पीढ़ी है, जो मोबाइल फोन के साथ है, सोशल नेटवर्किंग में, सोशल मार्केटिंग में है, डिजिटल मार्केटिंग में है, व्हाट आर दे लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू? सो व्हाट डज टुडेज यूथ वांट? ये हिंदी में कार्यक्रम होता है आज तक जीवन कला के ऊपर। इससे पहले स्कूल, आपके माता पिता, आपके टीचर्स, आप कौन हैं, अपने आप को जानिए, और आज जीवन की कलाओं के बारे में था। आज शाम को जो 5 बजे प्रोग्राम है, we do all programs with various ministries. with the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship today, 5 p.m. in the evening, Media Entertainment Sector Skill Council. There's a special program, Global Skills Competition and Innovation for Media Entertainment Industry. Don't forget to join us this evening at 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time for this live webinar on YouTube. Now, this is the research which our chamber has carried out from 25th of March till 31st of October, and we wish to share with all of you. The world will never ever get back to where it was earlier. The things are going to change, education is going to change, lifestyle is going to change, learning skills are going to change, technology is going to play a very important role. So first and foremost thing is take care of your basic food. And second part is take care of your health. And third part is start doing a part-time job also, earn and learn. And the B2B, what was known as earlier business to business, now it will be back to basics of life. So sustainable development of the world, whatsoever human mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. And thereafter, ladies and gentlemen, we extend a very warm welcome this afternoon, this evening, whatever time zone you are into. We have got today Mrs. Padma. She's the principal, Stone Hill School, but they call it PYP, homeroom teacher at present. So her credentials, her background, everything is going to be on the YouTube. You can have a look over there. We extend her a very warm welcome. We have got Mr. Radhakrishnan, Director, Saikrishna Public School from Kerala. We extend him a very warm welcome. All these details are going to be available on the YouTube. Once you see on the YouTube this particular program, you can see entire thing. Mr. Sunil Chacko, Academic Principal, Bhartiya Vidya Bhavan Senior Secondary School. What we have got, we extend him also a very warm welcome. He is joining us from Kerala, from Thiruvananthapuram. We have also been joined by Mr. Maria Christopher Pakem Jay Balan, and he is the Vice Principal, AGR Global School, and he is based out of Tamil Nadu, ladies and gentlemen. Those know Tamil Nadu, it's fine. We have got Anuprita Nasari Madam. She's the Academic Consultant, Next Education India. Now, Next Education is the one which is a partner with us for bringing this special series, this particular special program. It's available to you Monday to Friday, 3 p.m. Indian Standard Time till 4 o'clock. So we take on today's program, and with these words, help me in welcoming today's distinguished guest, and we start the program. Let's start with Bangalore. We start with Mrs. Padma, and then we will go on with others. What I would like to make a request to all of you is that initially, let's devote 5 to 6 minutes from your side, whatever you wish to share with all of us. If anybody has got any screen to share, any kind of a presentation, PPT and all, you're more than welcome to share that. And if you have got anything else to convey, you're more than welcome. As far as my participants are concerned, I would like to give open on the YouTube. First of all, kindly post your details, your name and your email ID so that we can send across to you international e-certificate of this participation of this particular program. Secondly, let me have a first question of 1,000 rupees cash prize, which goes to my audience. Anybody can participate on that. There are a lot of apps available. In school education, is there any app available for assessment of youth, assessment of students? If there is any app, and the most creative app which we get on the YouTube link on this particular webinar, you get the first 1,000 rupees. That is the first question which comes to all of us this afternoon. Rest of the things we will take on little later. So let's open the platform. Let's open the channel, and also kindly write your school. Kindly write your school wherever you are from. so that finally we would know the tally from which school, how many people really joined for this particular program, because this is a global program, it's going world over, and we would like to have an active participation of everybody. So 1,000 rupees, kindly post what is the most important app as far as assessment is concerned. And now we wish to have the views of our distinguished guest, and we start with Mrs. Padma from Bangalore.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma. So it's a pleasure being here. Without further ado, I would like to start off with our current topic, which is, shaping the future of assessments for students. I would like to start off by saying that let's stop doing assessment to students or for students, but let's do assessments with students. That would be my absolute punchline for today: assessments with students. So we've been doing a lot of, CBSE, and all the boards have been talking about formative assessments, which we've been doing. People have been talking a lot of buzzwords, saying that we should transform education, we should make it engaging, we should look at future skills, but are we doing it? How much are we doing it? How much percentage of teachers are doing it? And lot of teachers, lot of schools are still teaching for assessing students. We are looking at the end product. How can we change the pattern and style of assessing students? Is the end product important? Should we teach with the end in the mind? Should we keep the exams as our final end target and then teach for it? Because many schools, we can hear principals saying, just go and teach the syllabus, complete the syllabus, teach them the keywords, and this is what the kids should know. But I think that's very, very important, that we need to first of all become open-minded, transform our thinking so that we do not teach for the end product. We don't teach with the end in the mind. We don't teach with percentage in the mind. We don't look at what is my child going to score. Not only teachers, I think it's also important for the parents to transform the way they are thinking, because every student, every parent, every teacher is thinking about what results can I produce at the end of the year? How will my school get a better name after producing better results? Do I produce 100% results? So it's very, very important that we do assessment for learning, assessment of learning, but finally start getting tuned to assessment with students. So that is what is my focus of today's, topic is going to be. So we are not able to hear you, Mr. Sharma.
When you say assessment with student, what exactly is the interpretation? What is assessment with students?
So, when we are actually starting with teaching, we never look at what the kids' interests are. We never look at students' interest. We know that this is my topic, this is what I need to deliver, and this is what I have to teach. We never consult with the students. We never check their prior knowledge on what they already know, so that we start from that threshold. So I think it's very, very important when we say assessment with students, it's important that we first know what the students know already. What is the way that they want to take? If you're going to take a topic, maybe the students are more interested in looking at, let's take at water, since you spoke so much about water consumption and how water is become a depleting resource. If the child is going to look at conflict in water, so the child can probe into more of conflicts with water rather than looking at something else. If I'm going to look at providing more resources to conserve water, if conservation is my topic. So when I say assessment with students, we first look at their interests so that they move into, so there might be about, out of the 30 students, we might have 6 students who are interested in moving towards looking at conserving water. How can I conserve the resources? So we look at what is their objective, what do they already know, and what do they want to know. And then we together design what their assessment is going to look like. So they look at the end of this project, I would like to be better with knowing what are some of the alternatives to conserving water. what is another way of preserving water. So when they come up with their own criteria for assessment, the student is himself or herself accountable to what I want to learn. So when I say assessment with students, it's very important to co-create rubrics with the students to see where they want to finally, what they want to finally achieve. So that is what I mean to say, that assessment with students. And in all this, I think questions are very, very important. Nowadays, in our assessment, we are looking at the basics of Bloom's taxonomy. Every board is talking about the higher order thinking skills. So shifting the assessments to grow higher level thinking is very, very important. We need to look at real world application problems like conserving water, looking at the deployment of resources, looking at creative ideas, problem solving, conflict resolution, rather than looking at knowledge level questions. We have machines to deliver the knowledge. We do not want mechanization. We want humanness in the future of education. It's basically talking about, let's focus, the education must be on generating whole competent human citizens rather than mechanization of humans. So just to see that, I had read a little beautiful sentence which says, future learning environments, what it needs is it's not more mechanization, but humanization, not more data, but more wisdom, not more objectification, but more subjectification. And we need more Aristotles and Plato's. So that is what our assessments should shape up, and that is what our assessments should look like.
Thank you. Thank you for your opening words. And we will come for the second round to you again, ma'am. Let me have Mr. Radhakrishnan. Mr. Radhakrishnan.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gupta.
Yeah.
And
you got to increase volume a bit. Please go ahead. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a special program which we have got, where we have got very distinguished principals with us from the school fraternity and ecosystem, and they are sharing with us the assessment part. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon. Can you hear me now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Transforming the culture of assessment. It's a very relevant topic now. The why I am saying it is very relevant. You see the score of NEP in this year's examination. People started scoring 720 out of 720. Is it the fault of the child? No. Is it the fault of the system? No. That means the children are getting educated and getting knowledge more and more. They may be getting from different resources. Okay, so our system, because you see a school where people are getting marks only in quota. So what will happen to the people from Trivandrum? In future, what happened? Maybe a child scoring 600 marks in NEET examination may not be getting seat for medical colleges. So what we have to do? The same, we have to develop equally the children. So for that purpose, we have to transform the assessment. That is a very important thing. So for that, what are the things we can do? We can go for more experiential learning. And the second point is, we should forget the book. Textbook, at least for the junior classes, it should be taken out. Especially for mathematics and science, we should not use the textbook because we have curriculum, we have the syllabus. The teachers should be given the syllabus. They can form their own. So what are the things they can decide it? For example, if you talk about in mathematics, in class 6 also, when we introduce algebra, still students are having problem with variables and constants. We used to teach them 1, 2, 3 are the constants and x, y, z are the variable. Okay, then even afterwards, what we tell them, x plus x, we will tell them 2x. Then later we will tell them 2x plus 3x equal to 5x. So the child, when we give an example to the child, what is 2x plus 3y? The child will be writing 5xy. So the thing is, the basics are not clear to the children. That is my point of view. So instead of teaching X and Y, why can't we introduce some real things? For example, you can take a pencil for class 1 students, keep 2 pencils. You tell them, this is 1 pencil, this is another pencil. When we add it, we will get 2 pencils. Okay. At the meantime, you keep 1 pen and 1 pencil, ask them to add. The child will say 1 pencil and 1 pen. So now the algebra is clear to the child. Why should the child will have problem? So the problem is with us only, we are not giving the assessment in the proper way. We just give them assessment, we give them marks, and children are scoring marks. At the end, what is happening? When they go for entrance examination, whether JEE or anything, they are unable to score good marks. So what the next can be done is group discussions can be improved, group discussion in a different way. So what generally the teacher, some schools, what they do, they ask the class teacher to divide the groups. Maybe the class teacher is an English teacher. How the English teacher can divide students for mathematics class? So entirely different. The child learning English may not be same good as in maths or in science. So what we have to do is every teacher should be encouraged to make their own groups. In the groups, every group should have gifted students, every group should have medium students, and every group should have slow learners also. Then in the group, the teacher should not explain any concept to the slow learners. Just give the idea to the bright students only. Make the bright students to teach the younger ones because we don't have book. So there won't be any complaint from the parents. Once there is no book, the parent will not say the syllabus is not completed, the book is not completed because we have the syllabus. Our aim should be how to motivate the child to learn. The another point we can think is in the languages. In the languages, book questions, for example, we ask questions from the book. So that can be avoided. Instead of that, what we can do, we can give them more and more comprehension questions. We can give more and more quiz questions. We can give more and more MCQs, and or even we can give more and more translation questions. Okay. So when we go to science, okay, what we can do, we can, because when we learn, they used to teach us what is Newton's third law. So every action has an equal and opposite reaction. What we used to learn, I used to by heart myself, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. What is the use of that? Later the child doesn't know. Instead of that, you should show them some live example. From the examples, let the child learn it. Okay. Similarly, the other point, what we can do, there may be 4 sections in a class, 1A, 1B, 1C, and 1D. So 4 classes, give 4 teachers, ask the 4 teachers to prepare at least 5 to 10 assignments. So the 4 teachers will be preparing around 50 question banks or assignments, whatever it may be. From that, the HODs can select it. That will also be transforming the assessment systems, and objective types questions can be given more and more, and self-assessments, and students can be encouraged to do their work themselves instead of giving question answers. Even open book system can be introduced. Open book system can be introduced. With open books, child will be able to learn more things, and assessments which give space for self-correction and improvement should be given. Similarly, for GK books be thrown out. Instead of GK books, child can be taught that current affairs, then priority to activity-based learning and active-based assessment, then the usage of different tools for assessment like quiz, seminars, debate, reading competitions, writing competitions, role play, and self-explanatory projects can also be given. So if we do transformation in this way, surely we can expect a very good international people in the future also. That is my point of view.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Radhakrishnan. Now, I need a very active participation from all the teachers and all the students. If I have got 4 people today, I'm going to say from India, I must get at least 4,000 people participating. But I'm not having that active participation. I don't know, today is a Monday after Sunday. Does it happen that way? People are not that energetic. They are still in a holiday mood, or when it happens, I don't know. I would request that there should be active participation by all teachers and all students. I would make a humble request, all principals, kindly tell your students and teachers to take active part. Active part. I'm looking forward to, I want to give first 1,000 rupees in the first 5 minutes. I want more and more winners. How will I go to my next questions? Anyway, kindly keep posting. I have still not got the answer. I am looking forward to. I am asking for the app. Nowadays, social media, everybody is enjoying. Give something for assessment as far as the education, school education, and whatsoever you would like to suggest from your side. Okay, Mr. Maria, Christopher, I extend you a warm welcome if you are there. Yes, yes. So, Mr. Maria, kindly share your views. What would you like to convey with regard to assessment? Let's talk. Let's talk.
Yeah. So, first of all, thank you so much for this opportunity provided, and my reverence to the teachers as well. At this point of time, at this point of COVID crisis, they have been able to migrate to the technology completely to provide a quality-oriented online education to the children. So it makes a lot of difference. Parents got technologically empowered themselves, and the children got technologically empowered themselves, and teacher now completely migrated to the technology-based education. So when it comes to the assessment, uh, uh, the glance for the teacher, how an assessment should be for the children. First of all, I'm talking about the mindset of the teachers. What should be the mindset of the teacher to properly assess a child in a classroom? That's very important. So, no child left behind should be the solid attitude of the teacher should have in mind, in her or his mind, so that she will be able to touch the remote corner of the child sitting in the lost bench as well. So she should have that attitude. No child is left behind, and the very concept of teaching itself is undergoing a paradigm shift. No teacher is called a teacher nowadays. They are called more of a facilitator. So the teacher should work like a butterfly, uh, uh, giving less effort, and the effort impact is very huge. Butterfly sits in one flower to from another flower, and it creates a beautiful pollination. Similar should be the way of working by the teacher. So that teacher should have a clear mindset to work like a butterfly with the children. When a teacher enters into a classroom, she should have a clear idea as to how best she is going to deliver all 40 children within a duration of 40 minutes. That's very, very important thing to know. So there are about here we have about 5 participants. The 5 participants' way of learning things are different. See, when you take Gulshan sir might be a word smart, and when we say Padma ma'am also will be a word smart. When it comes to other participants, they might not be so word smart students, whereas they will be so good in doing something, as Radha sir said, the experiential learning. So, before the teacher starts assessing the child on a concept, the teacher should have the clarity on the 21st century educational skills that are going to be imbibed as a part of learning to the children. So there are 4 skills the teacher really should have capacitated themselves, so that in turn she will be able to develop the same skill set to the children as well. When it comes to the first skill, that is critical thinking, the kind of structured curriculum that we have placed in our school should have a critical thinking component in place. The teacher should trigger a way of learning in such a way that it triggers the critical learning part in each and every discussion she is initiating, each and every concept she is talking about in the classroom. Then collaborative thinking. When a teacher introduces a particular concept in the classroom, she must be able to make sure that she is not talking all the time. She must be able to divide different groups in place, and must be able to assign different activity which is so collaborative collaborative nature. Even be it right or wrong doesn't matter, but make sure that the children are given democratic participation so that they interact back with the children, and the teacher will have a fantastic way of knowing what the child feels about a particular concept, what the child has understood about the particular concept. Then when it comes to creative thinking, can you go beyond the textbook, is the moot question being asked by every educator in and around the world. So are we creating enough creative children in the classroom? Are we providing the conducive environment where the child will thrive based on your just little triggering? So these skills will really motivate the child to develop the creative thinking. The creative question should be asked by the teacher, provided the teacher had been so well equipped with the Bloom's taxonomy. Without knowing the lower order thinking skill and higher order thinking skills, teacher cannot think of creating a student with creative skills unless until she knows the root of the higher order thinking skills. The teacher must be in a position to frame the question. The way you frame the question is really matters, because our brain adapts quickly the one which is very familiar to our things. So the teacher, the fourth, the final skill the teacher should master is about the communication skill. Communication is one good thing that is serves one for all. I have seen people who are not so mastered in concept, but the way of presenting skills and way of presenting themselves before the panel or whatever the interview, they just do far better than other children. And the children who got secured first mark in the first rank in the classroom, they blink without knowing how to communicate better. So it is very important for a teacher that the four skills that has to be imbibed in the mindset of the children so that their assessment becomes very, very meaningful. So in order to achieve all this, a teacher should have been capacitated herself with the principles of BBL. We call it brain-based learning. How a child brain functions, that's very important. Unless until the teacher knows how how a brain functions for a child, she will not be able to deliver what she wants to deliver. So I would like to talk about these five principles of brain-based learning in a nutshell. It will not take more than 2 minutes for that matter. Then this really will provide a proper outlook for the teacher. How should I develop my children so that they achieve the 21st century education goal? When it comes to the first thing, it is a teacher should always provide lots and lots of prior knowledge to the children. Unless until the child knows what is known already, unless you make them understand, children will not be able to make a synaptic connection. Say, for example, let us take Dr. Gulshan. We are meeting Dr. Gulshan for the first time. Suppose I am inviting Gulshan sir for the for the dinner. Will he agree very immediately? I don't think so. I will have to interact with Gulshan sir very often. Maybe fifth time, Gulshan sir will agree to. Otherwise, unless until he will not agree, because I'm meeting for the first time. So unless until the synaptic connection is formed very strongly, teacher will not be able to make the child learn. So synaptic connection from known to unknown. Always the tutor should have the role of this facilitating the things, taking the children from known to unknown sources so that the child learn better. And when it comes to the second principle, the child should, and the teacher tender specific and immediate feedback. A child says something about a concept, immediately you must be able to provide the feedback. The feedback should not be very generic. It should be very, very specific. So specific feedback. Suppose I have gone something wrong in a sentence. I have written something wrong in a sentence. The teacher way of providing the feedback should be in such a way that the teacher should clearly state that the grammar construction in the sentence is wrong. The spelling error in the sentence is wrong. The sentence construction is wrong. Only then the child will be able to understand the feedback immediately and deliver better. And the third principle of the brain-based learning is that you must be able to present the choices of the activity to cater to the unique learning style. When you ask me, if you ask me in a classroom, there are different types of learner. It is not just auditory learner all the time. We talk something, it makes sense, and then they produce back. No, there are different types of learner. You might have heard about, as an educator, you might have heard about the multiple intelligence concept, motored by I forgot the Howard Gardner. He talks about word smart, picture smart, music smart, self smart, and the 8 types of intelligence. So a similar way, our children in our classroom, we will find different types of learner, or our teacher catering to the different types of learner. How? It is by presenting the different choices of the activity. I might be so interested impressed to see the PowerPoint slides and learn something. Some other child might be so interested in doing something. Some other child might be so learning good by listening something. So
We'll come for second round. We'll come for second round, Mr. Christopher. We'll come for second round. We'll come
Thank
for
you.
second round. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was wonderful to listen to you. A lot of valuable inputs have come from your side. And Mr. Chacko's coming late is to your advantage. I gave you extra time to speak because I was waiting for him. I was trying to teach him on mobile phone. His mobile was off. So imagine,
Okay.
somebody's delay is somebody's advantage. It happens that. Okay, so let me just go to now Mr. Chacko. Mr. Chacko, unmute your mic. Unmute your mic. Mr. Chacko. Mr. Chacko, can you
Yes,
unmute
sir.
your mic?
Yes. I think
Yes.
I am audible to you. Good afternoon and
You are,
namaste.
you
I'm
are,
extremely sorry I couldn't join exactly on time. I am contacting with so many people. They are even calling me. Sorry. Okay. So first
you
of all, I
are,
take this opportunity to thank ICSI as well as the Next Education for arranging this program. It's a wonderful opportunity for the principal to just get a platform and express our views. So, and Next Education is concerned, they are associated with our school for the last 2 years. And of course, about Next Education, I can tell later. But today's topic is a very relevant topic, transforming the culture of assessment. How can a skilled teacher fulfill it? Of course, transformation is absolutely essential now. Absolute transformation means a marked change in the form and the nature or even personality. And we are talking about the assessment throughout. So assessment is concerned, it's very relevant thing because assessment actually means the feedback. Learners need a endless feedback more than they need endless teaching. And traditionally, our assessment is concerned, it's a teacher oriented, it's a one dimensional. So I can make it in an interesting way. It's a story type, an assessment which is happening in a jungle. What will happen in a jungle? Suppose the assessment is one sided, one dimensional. And if you make a weightlifting competition in the forest, of course, only the elephant wins because there is no space for the other animals. If the speed is the assessment, of course, the cheetah wins. And if the intelligence is the assessment, only one factor, naturally, the chimpanzee wins. And beauty is the only assessment, zebra wins. So our assessment nowadays is one dimensional, it's a teacher centered. We talk about a scholastic, co-scholastic, like a social skill, all these are assessed, whether we assess it properly. That's the reality. Now, how we can transform the teachers to do a comprehensive assessment? Of course, you can see that because of the lockdown, all the schools have been closed down since March. And we have to appreciate the teachers and the educational institution. I believe educational institution is only one of the rarest sectors where the core activities are not affected drastically because of the teachers, how they transformed. They have done 3 A's. I have to appreciate all the teachers for that. So I will come to the assessment. Before that, of course, the teacher's role is a significant role. A for adaptability. How quickly they adopted from the traditional classroom teaching to the virtual classroom teaching. Virtual classroom teaching, they cannot see the smile of the children. They cannot get a two-way communication, but there are limitations. And how quickly they have adjusted at their home. They have converted their living space to the classroom. Hats off to the teachers. And how they have accommodated. Even the parents are viewing their classes. So I believe assessment, the transformation, transforming the teachers, it's easy because they have done it. Because within 6 months, how quickly they transformed from the traditional teaching to the modern type of teaching, the virtual teaching. So my point is this traditional assessment is just like a cross, CROSS. Cross means teaching like this, learning like this. When it meets only, we will make the assessment test. So I would like to elaborate this cross, CROSS. That's each alphabet is for a specific word. In a general perspective, only I am explaining that C for it should be comprehensive and continuous. Comprehensive in the sense that there should be, we have an assessment for the aptitude of the child. We are doing it now, but still an attitude of the child. Then, of course, another test will be behavioral test. Now, what is happening is the pen paper test, and that's one thing. The student who is intelligent, who can memorize the thing, they will get A1, and there is no space for the other children. So I believe now the assessment should be a comprehensive one. B for the behavior, how the child behaves in a particular situation, that also should be assessed scientifically. Then, of course, C for the character assessment. So every aspect, that's why I mean comprehensive. First C in cross, C means comprehensive and continuous. Then, of course, the discipline also should be assessed. That should be scientific way. A child who is disciplined will fare in all possible fields. Then we can emotional assessment and formative assessment. Formative assessment, we are doing it. That means how the teacher can see that how the child has learned in periodically. Then the growth assessment, the health assessment, then intelligence, then initiative, informal, and inquisitive assessment could be done. Then only it will become very comprehensive. And most importantly, CBSE says about a joyful learning. This is a very important area. Assessing how much happy the student is. I think no schools will look at that assessment. Whether child he is having an enjoyable learning experience. This is the one assessment. Our education should definitely system should definitely look into this aspect, whether the learning is an enjoyable experience. But it's a definitely hardship now. The students are tensed. So the assessment, that part also should be looked into, whether it's a joyful one. Then the mental assessment has to be taken care of, numerical assessment, obedience assessment, peer assessment, and passion assessment. This is very important. Passion quotient. This is very, we talk about emotional quotient, EQ, we talk about IQ, but we seldom talk about the passion of the child. So then only it becomes a comprehensive one. Then in the cross, CROSS, R for reliable and relevant. Reliable means the test result should be reliable one. Now you can see, as Radhakrishnan sir in his statement, he said, many schools you can see students are getting A1 in all subjects. Out of 600, all are getting 600 out of 600. Out of 1,200, they are getting 1,200 marks. Then what is the reliability of the result? Then the assessment should be relevant to the need of the hour. Then, of course, O in the cross, O is concerned, it should be objective result. If your particular target is there, you get not subjective result. It should be an objective one. Then, of course, our assessment should be a standardized one, and the assessment should be a simple one. Then the cross is fulfilled. I've talked in a general perspective only. So that's the input I want to give you. So assessment should be an enjoyable experience for the teachers, parents, and the students. Then, of course, the assessment should be a simple one. Then the cross is fulfilled. I have talked in a general perspective only. So that's the input I want to give you. So assessment should be an enjoyable experience for the teachers, parents, and the students. and the students, and it should be comprehensive, and we must be able to extract A to Z. It should not be one dimensional, it should be multi-dimensional. Just like already I referred in the jungle competition, one side only if you look into, there is no space for the other children to exhibit their skill, exhibit a social skill, communication skill, and so many irrelevant skills are there. Now, the most important skill a student should require is the survival skill. In United States, all that are this skill being taught, because earthquake, how the students should react. Recently, in 2011, Japan was hit by a tsunami. All the schools in Japan, along with the curriculum, there is an assessment. When tsunami approaches, how the student will react to that survival skill. That's very important. If this skill is not there, other skills are a wasteful exercise. If you survive, only other skills are relevant. That's my point of view. Then Kerala also in 2018, we are affected by the mega flood. It has affected poor as well as rich people. Almost 20,000 people have to forced to move to the refugee camp, and our children, they couldn't cope up with the situation. So survival skill, its assessment also should take place in the school in a consistent basis. So if these things are there, I believe this is just an input. It's purely personal. It's not a what I said may not be correct. This is what I feel. CROSS. It should be comprehensive and continuous. It should be reliable and relevant, and it should have a specific target. Is that you should get the objective result, not subjective result, and it should be a standardized one. And the exam or the assessment should be simple. It should not be too complicated. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity, and thank you, Dr. Gulshan Sharma, sir, for giving this opportunity and extracting the best out of the panelists. And you made us ease also. You called me a couple of half an hour before. That has relaxed me also. Thank you very much for giving this extraordinary platform to express our view. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chacko. I come from the armed forces background and I understand what exactly is the survival skill.
Yes, exactly.
That is something very important which you have, and you quoted the example of Japan. Imagine, look at that particular country. So something very good. And the cross, what you have given, that is also something very, very interesting, and how you amplified. Okay. We have got now, thank you very much. Paucity of time, 4 minutes more. So I have to rush now. And then finally, I'll give 1 minute each to everyone. All my participants, those are participating, those are posting over here. Somebody has mentioned something, Ivanati, like Bhutan, the gross national happiness. You are supporting joyful learning of Chacko Saab. That is something very interesting. And then some Archana, she posted a very good comment over here. And another gentleman from Tamil Nadu, he has also posted a very good comment. And then there was somebody who gave very interesting. That was quizzes for both MCQs and subjective answers. Yes, that is also there, the app. Bhartiya Vidya Bhavan. Bhartiya Vidya Bhavan, maximum teachers and students are participating in this program. I would request, it's a competition. I don't know. I want more participation now. All the schools, teachers, students, everybody got to participate. I need more. I need more. Somebody commented over here. I will share with you a little later. Okay. With these words, let me come to Anuprita ma'am. Let's have your views, and then we go for the final round, 1 minute each. Yes, please. Your mic is mute. Your mic is mute.
Yeah, now I'm audible, right?
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
So, Namaskar. It's indeed an honor and pleasure for me to be a part of this webinar and share the platform with such esteemed personality for sharing my views. I'm working as an academic consultant with Next Education, a very progressive organization in the field of education, which is providing academic support in the form of digital learning, online learning, as well as we also have print media, that is books, ERP and the learning platform. And Next Education is committed to giving quality educational material and resources and keeping the schools and students at pace with the changing and the transformed academic scenario which is there prevailing in the country. So education and the entire academic process involves three things, that is teaching, learning and assessment. And today we are focusing on assessments, which is an integral part of the entire academic process, which facilitates the student learning and improves the instruction also. So classroom learning, which can take a variety of form, can be classified into three divisions. One can be assessment for learning, which is formative assessment, assessment of learning, that is the summative assessment, and the third is the assessment as learning, which is equally important because the focus is on helping students to think on how to think. This helps the students to monitor and reflect on their own learning. So formative assessment is a ongoing assessment process which allows the teacher to monitor the students on a day-to-day basis. Assessment of learning, that is the summative assessment, while it provides a useful reporting information, it often has little effect on learning. So assessment of learning is a snapshot in time that lets the teacher, students and their parents know how well each student has learned the task or has done the activity. So the role of assessment in education is finally getting a center stage, which is very evident in the NEP 2020, which has actually suggested following characteristics for the assessment. It says that the assessment should be regular, it should be formative, and it should be competency based. Also, it should be promoting learning and development of the student, which is the holistic development of the students. And a larger focus should be on assessment for learning. Then, like most of you have quoted, that high order thinking skills should also be catered when we are actually doing the assessments in our classrooms. So all these changes suggested in NEP, I feel, are transforming the culture of assessment, and which also implies to the fact that assessment cannot be just a pen and paper test. So a skilled teacher needs to go beyond it to conduct a meaningful and relevant assessment in the class, which would help the child better his learning. And the assessment won't be for the sake of filling up the normal columns or the routine columns of the report card. So assessment should be done to showcase or to project the holistic development of the child, right? So there are some tools and techniques for conducting different types of assessment. So we can have weekly quizzes, some role plays. Minute paper is a very handy tool for the teachers to conduct the formative assessments in their regular classrooms. Homework assignments are there, student surveys are there, projects with peer reviews can be part of their formative assessments. For summatives, we can have midterm exams, final exams, projects, then portfolio reviews. The teachers can make the portfolios of the students and then have a review, and it can be a kind of summative assessment. We can have presentations, the final, the finale presentations. Apart from that, like sir has already suggested about open book examinations, then we can have group projects. Classroom group activities can also be conducted for formative assessments of the students. So these are some of the examples which would encourage, apart from the linguistically good students, the visual, the auditory and the kinesthetic learners will also get an ability to show their skills. It will give them a chance to showcase their abilities and their skills, right? Also, this would apply the concept of MI in assessment. The teachers can apply the concept of multiple intelligence in creating their assessments. When we talk about the responsibility of a skilled teacher in this transforming culture of assessment, there are a lot of things which a teacher needs to cater. Like we spoke about the rubrics when Padma ma'am was talking. So sharing the rubrics, making the rubrics along with the students, and then sharing the rubrics in advance. Before even giving the assessment task, if we share the rubrics in advance, this will fasten the realization of the set objectives by the teacher. Also, this will help the students to know about the expectations from their end. And since why this will help them, because they would know the outcomes would in the beginning also, beginning itself. The outcomes would be well defined in the beginning. So the students will also know the expectations from their side. Also, there should be an orientation of students as what is acceptable to the teacher and what is not. This is all the more important in today's scenario because the entire school and academic activities are online these days. So the usage of internet in appropriate way needs this criteria to be implemented in the classroom assessment. So this also reinforces the principle of learning not only with the right technology, but through the right technology. Another very important point I want to quote here is there should be a link between the school and the parents. The teacher should get the parents on board as far as assessment is concerned. The holistic assessment of the child should be made available to the parents also, and the parent should also assess their child. A 360-degree approach, which is also mentioned in NEP 2020, needs to be designed for the students, where the student would be assessed by the teachers, the parents, the peers, and self. This approach will cover all three types of assessment, that is assessment for learning, assessment of learning, and assessment as learning. So this will automatically result in designing of such a report card, which will cover all the three domains of development, that is the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
So this is I'll just make one small point here, that if the teachers, they understand and perceive the presentation of assessment which is there in NEP, I think we can put India on the global map as far as education is concerned.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Very
Thank
kind
you
of
so
you.
much. Thank you so much for giving me this platform.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will come to the gallery view. That would be much better so that all of us are together. Now, I will give 1 minute each to everyone. Briefly, not more than a minute. I will tell you what exactly. But before that, I must compliment certain people. Those are actively participating. There is somebody, Nityanath Senthil Kumar. Nityanath Senthil Kumar. I don't know from which school or institution. Given the current situation of the pandemic and economy, entrepreneurship skill through projects to improve the street knowledge and becoming a street smart has to be taught at high school level onwards. Very good answer. Then there is some lady, Archana RS. Archana RS. She is giving striking insights in today's webinar assessment with students and into the textbook systems and teachers framing their own syllabi. Joyful learning should be the solution. Then Sita Rajendran, survive skills and the vocational skills are very important in the present scenario. Then Sunil S. Students assessment done through various parameters like passion, quotient, and all would be very effective as quoted by Sunil Chacko ji. Okay, then comes, there is a Shija Santosh. Most importantly, check whether the child can handle the situation and difficulties that comes on his or her way unexpectedly without feeling depressed. Wow, what a beautiful. Shija Santosh, please write which is your school. I would like to know because I personally feel that your reply is quite good. Then Archana RS, transformation through experimentation and let the student learn by exploring themselves. Teachers being only should be the facilitator. Let children dream, explore, and discover themselves. Archana RS, please write which is your school. Very, very, I'm proud of you because you have given okay, rest all. I would like to have more sessions. This. Fine. Okay. So that goes lovely. And then of course, Meena Kumari and Renuka Nair. I will just go through that. Meanwhile, let me come back to my panel. Quickly, 1 minute I have to give them and then I have to work out. Okay. First of all, education will never ever get back to what it used to be in January and February. After March, altogether different now, the education has moved ahead. And let me also share with you, whatsoever has come in 6 months, that was to come in India in next 6 years or 10 years. But because of the COVID-19, it's a blessing in disguise. Everybody struggled, everybody jiggled, and everybody put the permutation combination and they started learning what is Zoom, what is Cisco, what is Microsoft, what is Google, and everything. And now by this time, everybody is at least comfortable to handle the technology. People, those who were not using technology earlier. Now, first of all, if anybody is thinking we'll be able to get back to what it used to be earlier, never ever. Now the education has moved forward. And once education has moved forward, education is going to be technology based. Education has become transparent. What you are teaching and what students are learning, it is now totally transparent and exposed. You cannot hide anything in future. So thereby, the technique of the assessment also has to totally undergo a change. Government is seriously thinking and everybody is seriously thinking no more physical infrastructure development. Rather, there should be a technological advancement. And that's why right from the 6th class, now the coding is coming, artificial intelligence is coming, virtual reality is coming, Internet of Things is coming, cloud computing is coming, and blockchain and a couple of other things are coming. Okay. Why we should not, somebody mentioned, and I will repeat, I think it was Mr. Chacko's words, or education should be enjoyable. If I remember that word, education should be enjoyable. And then my friend, Mr. Maria Christopher, critical thinking, collaborative thinking, and can we go beyond textbooks? That was also something which I took it a deep note of it. Now coming back, about a minute. What is your final take on? My first question is all the participants, you can put your hand on your heart, not on my heart, on your heart. Put your hand and first of all just write yes or no in the chat box on the YouTube. You should put over here, should we have the assessment system or should we have, because when the education is undergoing the complete change and it is no more teaching centric, it's a learning centric. And when everything is coming on your mobile phone, Where is the necessity of traditional way of assessment at all? Because I personally feel, and we have strongly recommended to the government also, all the government schools, all the government colleges, they should be given the grant from the central government based on their performance. If a children are passing out after 12th class, how many children became self-employed? How many started their own venture? How many became startup? How many became entrepreneur? Not in a traditional way that you distribute the dishes to everybody because they are to be given the grant every year. No. Survival of the fittest is the most important thing, and that's why somebody used survival skills also. I'm very happy on that. So, your take finally, before we conclude, a minute each we give it to you. What do you think should be the new pedagogy, or for that matter in higher education, andragogy, for assessment when the education has moved ahead and now it is no more. It is no more how much you have taught, whether you have completed the syllabi or not, what are the contents, what is the outcome is more important. What is the outcome? And it has become learning centric. Thereby, all my teachers, those are watching this program, and all the students, those are also watching this program, you can put your suggestion like my panel is going to put. What kind of a new, innovative, first of all, whether there should be an assessment system. If you want, then say yes. If you feel no, then write no in the YouTube on my this particular program, yes or no, whether we should have assessment or we should not have assessment. Okay, secondly, what should be the most creative and innovative way of assessment? And I start with Madam Padma. About a minute she speaks, and thereafter I go to Radhakrishnan ji, and then I come to Maria Christopher, then to Sunil Chacko, and then to Anuprita ma'am. And time starts now. 1 minute. Unmute, unmute, unmute.
10 seconds gone. Thank you. Yes, after listening to all the other panelists and the suggestions that you were reading out from the chat and putting my perspective, I would say we need to look at the learners being critical thinkers. Are they critical thinkers? Are they problem solvers? Can they resolve conflicts? Can they be open-minded? Can they come up with global perspective changes? If we can assess those things in real world life scenario, that could be the best assessment that can be possible. Give them a problem, ask them to solve that real life problem. Look at what they have come up with at the end point. See if they can collaboratively come up with it. Are they working collaboratively? Are they good team makers? Because we don't want the eyes these days, we want teams. So if they can be creative, innovative, risk takers, conflict resolvers, I think that would be the best assessment possible to come out in flying colors. Those would be the best survival skills that we can equip the kids with the students with. So we only need to assess those skills and not the memorizing, rote learning, coming back with knowledge. So that is my perspective on if we need assessments, then we need assessing the 21st century skills and not knowledge-based assessments.
Thank you very much. And it should be related to our day-to-day life.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Radhakrishnan ji.
Good evening, sir. Once again, first, you clearly point out the Macaulay spoiled Indian system of education. That is an excellent point. Now, you talk about how can we motivate the children in different areas. For example, how many have become startups? How many have started their own business? So this culture we have started in our school some 6 months back. We have started identifying the problems. Okay. Now the question is, one more thing is, every problem has solution. It should be taught to the children. Because when we were the students of MSc Mathematics, there was one paper called graph theory. In that graph theory, at that time, 4-color problem was not solved. But some 10 years back, that problem also solved. But in the universe, we can tell clearly there is no problem without solution. It should be taught to the children. If we are able to teach them this concept, then children will find out. Already the teacher told every problem has solution. Slowly, slowly, the children will go in different angles and they will find out and solutions for all the problems. So motivate the children, give them enough more and more questions. Don't give them solutions. I request the teaching community, explain the concept to the children, give them questions, not answers. Let the children find out the answers. That will be the good thing for every child to motivate themselves also and motivate others also. Group learning, group discussions, and a quiz. Many things I pointed out in the first point, and everything can be given. All the principals, on the teachers, and everyone should think about that. So I personally thank Next Education. They have their own lab in IIT Mumbai too. I got a chance to visit that also, and they are arranging the motivational class for the principals and everyone. And excellent motivator we got, Dr. Sharma. Basically, I think he's a major, maybe major from Indian Army because his talks and everything very relevant and clear. So once again, I thank everyone and for motivating me too. Thanks to all.
Thank you very much, Radhakrishnan ji. Mr. Maria Christopher.
Yes, sir. So once again, thank you so much for the opportunity provided. Only one thing I just wanted to reiterate. Teacher must be able to diagnose the different types of learner in a classroom. There must be at least 5 to 8 types of learner to which there are questionnaires available. They will be able to Google it out. They will be able to get the questionnaire, roll out the questionnaire in the classroom and identify the different types of learner and map it with the technology. That is very, very important. Now, everybody cannot evade from the technology. Everybody cannot evade from the smartphone. The entire smartphone operation is based on the artificial intelligence. The similar artificial intelligence mapping has to be done with the assessment as well. That is otherwise called adaptive assessment. This adaptive assessment provides a platform for the children to know where they are in a particular concept, and it fetches them a different question. So it really helps the child to move forward where a child is supposed to be. So a tool with an adaptive assessment is really a way forward towards achieving the 21st century educational goal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sunil Chacko ji. You got to unmute your mic, sir.
Good afternoon once again. And so the first question was whether assessment is required. Of course, assessment is required. Then what type of assessment is required? Already I mentioned that the assessment should be an enjoyable experience for the students. Because otherwise, now we have seen that when there is an assessment in the form of test, we have seen that what will happening in various schools. So that's number one. Number two, assessment. Every child has a space for the assessment. That means it should be a comprehensive one, and it should be relevant, and it should a 21st century skill like critical thinking, as already mentioned, communication, collaboration. And I believe in the future, the teaching should not be confined in the classroom. It should be 60% classroom, 40% outdoor, in and out. And assessment also now, if you look at assessment takes place indoor, it has to take place outdoor. And after 12th standard, you should have a sheet about that particular chart regarding that particular student, his social skill, emotional skill, his lovable skill. So even that particular reference is required for an employer to know the personality of the child. When he goes for a marriage also, that will be helpful to know the in and out of the child, every aspect. That's the assessment all about. I mean, it's a redundant or the pen paper test. This is absolutely redundant. It's one-sided because it is not being enjoyed by 100% students. So there should be an absolute shift in the assessment system. Of course, that's what I want to mention at this juncture. So once again, before I conclude, I appreciate and thank all the panelists for putting their input, and really that also given me a lot of thought, a wonderful way all the panelists have put in. That will helpful for me. I take some very relevant points, and thank you, Dr. Gulshan sir, for an extraordinary coordination of the event. And extremely sorry I couldn't join on time because I didn't get the link. That's the problem. So then also Next Education for giving us this wonderful platform. Thank you very much. Have a nice and wonderful evening here. Thank you.
Sunil Chacko ji, Kerala helped Tamil Nadu to get more time. You gave more time to Maria Christopher. Okay. Anuprita ma'am. Anuprita ma'am, let's have the final concluding from you.
Yeah, sir. I would feel that assessment should be there, and it should be there for learning. So teachers would be able to collect the data on the knowledge and the skills gained by the students, and they can analyze, and then they can redesign their teaching for the students to perform better in all the aspects. May it be the 21st century skill, may it be other skills which we are trying to implement. Also, some attempt should be made to use the AI-based software, that is the adaptive assessments, which would also help the students to self-assess himself, and then he can move progressively further, and the assessment would become more fruitful for the child to develop and to gain knowledge and skills. So these are the two things, that assessment only of the knowledge gain should not be there. Assessment should be for the learning, and assessment as learning should also be implemented. So we should have tools and techniques to implement this. This is what I feel. Only assessment of the knowledge should not be there, which is happening right now with the pen and paper test going on continuously in our schools. So a lot of tools and techniques like projects, role plays, class activities, group activities, portfolio reviews. So that would help the teacher, the parent, I mean, all the stakeholders would be benefited. So
thank you very much.
These are what are my views. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity to share my views. Thank you so much. And thank you to all the panelists, and wish you all a very great day ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. Now, I just wish to take a minute to say a few words so that we all are on the common frequency. First of all, let me tell you that this program is just a kind courtesy and a gesture from our chamber. It's not a commercial activity or any kind of a sponsorship or something from our Anuprita ma'am's organization. This is only in one of the webinar I picked up a love for Arpit Dugar, who is based out of Dubai. He was very innovative and creative in the participation. And I told him that what exactly your organization is doing, and we'll give an opportunity, and we started this particular journey. Now, there are two kinds of teacher. One is by choice a teacher, one is accidental teachers. So I'm not by choice a teacher, I'm an accidental teacher. And when I got into this particular profession, because I joined army, my father was in army, grandfather in army, and I wanted to retire from the armed forces only, but destiny has got different in storage. Beyond major, there were a couple of things on medical, and because of that, I had to switch over. And when I did my master's and PhD in tourism, so thereafter, I moved on deputation to the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. Had I stayed in the army, I wouldn't have enjoyed the world that much, what I could travel and I could see the world. I could see what exactly is going on, traveling length and breadth. If I talk about Kerala, Bangalore, I will come later, because I used to stand in front of railway station and see the Sangam cinema and take a right side and go to the Majestic Circle. And that time, three theaters were there: Nartaki, Santosh, and Alankar. That is, I'm talking about way back in 1973. So moving to Kerala, when I come over here, right from Ponmudi to Thiruvananthapuram to Varkala to Alapi to Koilon to Vaipin Island to Trichur to Mullampura, to Kottayam to Thekani to Idukki to Periyar to Shabramali, and then going all the way to Madurai in Tamil Nadu. When I talk about Tamil Nadu, of course, Tuticorin and the Kurtialam, that waterfalls, and particularly Rameshwaram, the great soul, India's president, Abdul Kalamji coming from there, and then of course other beautiful places over there. And to Kerala once again, along with Tamil Nadu, the Kanyakumari once again down below the last tip something. And from Kerala also going to Lakshadweep, all the 36 islands. And when I started India's first MBA tourism program, Bangalore, I've got another linkage because for Indian Army, I set up the Hotel Management Institute in Bangalore. That was from the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. So, I mean, a lot of linkages are there. It's a wonderful country. It's a wonderful people. And there's so much proud being brought by all of you. The only request I would like to make to you is now, technology is moving so fast. If teachers do not keep pace with time, the time will come that it would leave behind all of us. If we really want to be a leader, because like doctors, nurses, and paramedical people during this pandemic, they were warriors. Let me assure and share with all of you that education has moved ahead. At least 10 years, it has taken a leapfrog, 10 years. And if we do not keep pace with the time now, then it's going to be very difficult for all of us. If we want to remain leader, if we want to make education relevant, because that's why the title is Making Education Relevant. And it has to be linked in such a way, otherwise children will have so much of knowledge, they would not require. 30% parents have already taken decision in America. They will not send their children to schools. Now it will be homeschooling. That is the way it is coming up over there. 22 million boys and girls are already planning to pull out after this pandemic. So thereby, I would request, I think more than assessment, we got to focus on what exactly to be delivered so that these children do not come out of the schools without any kind of a startup or entrepreneurship or vocational or something. They got to move on to that. That part is very important. So with these words, our best wishes to all of you in India. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay fine, enjoy yourself. This particular program is available on the YouTube. You can see it any point of time. You can share with your friends. You can share with your others. I will close the channel after 15 minutes because 5 p.m. we have got the next program that is with the Media Entertainment Sector Skill Council. Those are enjoying now. If you enjoy radio, television, theater, music, films, animation, join us at 5 p.m. again.